Some of you, I've been reading on the boards tonight, are having a hard time staying no contact. That's pretty natural. It's pretty normal. I wanted to give you an idea, something that I've done before, that seemed to help me. And, you know, some of the benefits of staying no contact, the main thing is you're going to be able to have a better sense of reality, be able to evaluate better how you're being treated, how you are, you know, what the reality of the situation is. You can't really do that if you're in the thick of it, if you're in the middle of it. So by going no contact, that's what the narcissist doesn't want you to do, because when you are away from them, they don't have as much control over you because they're not able to get feedback and monitor what's going on. So they want to be able to have that control over you. So one of the techniques that I did, I'm going to share this with you. It may not work for everybody. It worked for me. Is NeuroLinguistic Programming. It's called, shortened, it's NLP. NeuroLinguistic Programming. And there are submodalities which are the way we process information. So if you can think of it this way, think of the narcissist that you were with, the person that you were with. They manipulated you. They manipulated you to their own desires, okay? And they did this, they actually use some brainwashing. And a lot of people are like, well, they're not that sophisticated. Well, they don't call it brainwashing, they just do that. That's how they get through in life. That's their normal sense of what they do from day to day. They have to have their feelers in and figure out how they can control their environment around them. See, we can control here. We have this connection with our head and our heart, and this connection with our heart gives us our sanity. It gives us a sense of we are in touch with, you know, the universe or whatever. The narcissist doesn't have that. They have just a head connection. They have an ego, and so they need to bring the environment in. But that's a whole different video. That's all over the internet as far as finding that information out. So this technique, it's called NeuroLinguistic Programming. I first learned about this from Anthony Robbins, or Tony Robbins as they call him now, back 20 some years ago. And I still see books about it. I've gone to classes about it. And it's actually very effective. And it has to do with, and there's different things you can do. There's other things. But I want to talk about this one thing tonight that seemed to help a lot. And this may require you to watch this video a couple times, what I'm about to say. So there's a technique. Because you've been brainwashed, because you've been, your mind's been jacked up, what I want to help you do is unjack it, or I want you to actually brainwash yourself, but in a positive way, something that's actually going to be healthier for you. Because what happens is we have these trauma bonds with these problematic people. The trauma bonds are caused by them playing with our emotions, bringing us way down and bringing us way up. That big swing, if you will, makes an impact in us, okay? And it gets stuck in our head, okay? So if you can think of it this way, I don't know how many of you are familiar with television sets or plasma TVs. Now they have LEDs, and they have 4K LEDs, which are like in high definition, like super high definition. Lots of pixels, right? So when we go through our daily life, and again, this worked for me, I'm not sure it'll work for you, but I'm going to throw it out there anyways, see if it'll help. First of all, before I say anything, I want you to know that if you go no contact, you're not punishing them, okay? When they go no contact with you, they are usually using it in a form of punishment. So get rid of all the guilt or all the shame you have about, well, if I do this, you know, okay, yeah, well, they're going to be upset, okay? And they're going to be upset because you're taking control away from them. You're actually taking control back to yourself. Nobody owns you. Slavery was abolished, I think, what, 100 and some years ago? You have the right to say no. You have the right to not have to answer the phone. You have the right. There's nothing that says you have to answer this phone. I'm using the phone right now because I'm talking to you on it. I was going to grab one and say a phone. But you absolutely have that right. Nobody has the right to tell you what to do, not even your parents. If you're over the age of 18, you have all the rights in the world to live your life. You have the right to go to the grocery store and get 2 tubs of ice cream if you want. You have the right to fill your bathtub up with Nutella, dip, and swirl around in that. You have the right to do anything you want. Now, there's consequences to everything that we do, right? So, one of the consequences, if we go no contact with the narc, they're going to get upset. Well, yes, I mean, of course they are. And if you're like me, that kind of makes your heart go, oh man, I can't, this is going to be tough, And then you're thinking about like, well, what are they doing? They're probably thinking about me, and they're probably lonely, and I hate to like let them down like this. Look, you always let them down. You could be contacting them 100%, but you're still going to let them down because it's the nature of the personality disorder. You are never going to do anything right. You're always going to get blamed. You have to be the one to blame because that's the disorder. That's how it works. They're perfect. They're right. You're wrong. You get blamed. Okay? So, if you're seeing this, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you go no contact, you're going to get abused. But you're going to get abused less because they're not going to be able to reach out to you. If you stay if you stay in contact with them, you're going to get abused. Now, well, what they'll do is they'll temporarily throw you off a little bit and play pity or be nice to you for a little bit, but it's all for them. It's all to get what they want, which is eventually to have control over you. They need control over you to regulate their own emotions because they have no connection here. Okay? So get rid of all the guilt, all the shame. Easier said than done, I know. You'll eventually see, though, over time, when you do this, when you go no contact, over time you will release that guilt. That guilt will just slowly dissipate. Okay? Now, with a Hoover, if you don't know what hoovering is, go ahead and look it up, but they'll try to suck you back in, like a vacuum cleaner, Hoover. That's what a Hoovering's called. And some of you may say, well, I can't go no contact. I still have to see him for court or something. Yes. Now, here's what I'm gonna show you what I did. There's different things that you can do, but there's things in your brain which are associations. When I say what's an association? If I say peanut butter, do you think of chocolate? That may be one association. Some of you do. Peanut butter, chocolate, okay? But you have all these associations in your head. And when we go around through life, most of the day, we're going around with something. I'm going to go back to the plasma TV example. We're going around with something on like a computer monitor, maybe a 22-inch computer monitor, and that's kind of how our brain, how our visualizations are taking part in us. Now, when we're in a really emotional thing, like we're having sex or something, that visualization, that mental image in your head may turn into an IMAX theater screen, right? Like 13 stories tall, and because it's very much a part of you. You're more emotionally charged. So let me ask you this, and I want to trigger anybody, but I'm just going to let you know this may develop some triggers, but it's good. It's good to go through this. So when you think of your narc, like right now, when you think of them, I want you to think of what kind of picture you get in your head. Like, is it a little picture? Chances are it's probably like big, maybe like an IMAX. And what are they doing? What is their face doing? What do they look like? Now, for a third of you, you'll be able to do that pretty easily. Some of you think in terms of auditory. Some of you are visual. I just did the visual. Some of you were auditory. So you think in terms of what the narc sounds like, what they say, if they yell or whatever. Okay? So Think about that. What do you see? Does it take up the full view in your head of what you see, that mental image? What do you hear? Do you hear them yelling? Do you hear them being sweet and nice and or pitiful? Oh, poor me. I mean, so think of those things. Okay, got it? And then for some of you, there's more of a feeling. There's more of a, of course, with all of us, right? Especially if we have PTSD. You know, we might not even know we have PTSD. We get this kind of tense feeling, right? Like all this stuff, right? So what I want you to do is when you think of the narc, take that picture, okay, and then shrink it down until it's about 6 feet by 9 feet, or about 3 feet by 4 feet, like a 40-inch TV, okay? Take that image out of your head and put it right in front of you, okay, to your right. Now, this may be different here, but to your right. So you put that image right there to your right. And then what I want you to do is in your head, I want you to think of that image out there to your right. There, so your narc is on that screen, okay? Now what I want you to do is shrink that screen down, just in your mind's eye. Take your fingers, go on both corners, just like you would on an iPhone, kind of, you know how you can shrink stuff down? Just kind of pull both of the things down together and shrink it down to where it's like an 8 by 10 picture. Just a little picture like this. And I want you to move it over to the other side. And I want you to wave your hands and it turns black and white. So now you have a picture. Hope I'm not going too fast. Shrink it down, move it over, black and white. And now it's black and white, right? It's kind of dull. So you have the picture of the narc there. Okay, this is just the visualization technique. Now, what I want you to do is just boom, just tap it, tap the picture, and let it just go away, and it's gone. What you did was you visually took charge of that person. You shrank them down, moved them over. So now, 5 minutes now, or 10 minutes from now, or a half hour from now, if you did that with me, if you did that, they will not be as powerful on you. You will not have the same modality. You will not have the same association in your head. It will change. Now, if you do that over and over again, if you do it every day, that's very powerful, okay? So that's just one technique. The other one is with the auditory, with some of you that hear things. You know, if somebody says, yeah, that rings a bell, those are people that think in terms of auditory. If you think in terms of, oh yeah, that rings a bell, or if somebody says, I see what you're saying, that's somebody who's a visual. So now I'm going to do the auditory. So that person, the narc, you hear him in your brain, or whatever, or just, you know, the powerful voice, or it's deep, or it's loud and boisterous, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to listen to this. I want you to turn their voice down. It gets quieter and quieter. Quieter and quieter. And then I want you to take this music. Where is the music I wanted to put in here? Oh, I don't have any. Here you go. I want you to just think of that music. It's not even music. It's just a trumpet going. So next time they're talking to you, hear this sound. And what I did was I took a YouTube video and I went to a site that loops it. It takes a video and it loops it. Infinite looper, okay? But just think about that. And now, also I have a YouTube video of the most spoiled kids compilation. Now I want you to see this for a second. Let's turn this up a little bit. Now that's what your narc is doing emotionally. Okay? You know, these were actually kind of, because I feel bad for kids. I just hate hearing kids. It sounds like abuse to me, but I want you to almost hear a whiny kind of voice. It just kind of goes whiny. Like it goes from very powerful and assertive Goes to whiny, 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 whiny. I don't know if you can picture that, or if you can change that sound. Okay. So, but you can dial it down. So what's the thing that they always do? Do they always cough before they do something? Do they always, what's something that is like a habit that they have? I want you to develop a new association with that habit. Okay. And you can do that in your head. So the next time they cough, just think of that, like the joke, like, you know, or something. Just change the association. I don't know as much about the sound, but I do know more about the picture, because the picture worked for me. I'm a very visual person. But this, you know, just, yeah, okay. You know, one thing I did too is when she would talk, I would get to the point where I would just hold the phone up, just like this. Now, the best thing to do is to go to no contact, but if you picture yourself doing this, then you will do it the next time. One thing I did too is I pictured myself. This is hard. This is really hard for me to do when I first did this, but I was told by a counselor that it was okay to hang up the phone with her. If you didn't like it, if it was she was being abusive, or she was telling me how I should think. You thought this and blah, blah, blah. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. Just hang up the phone. She calls back. Hang up the phone. It was okay. I'm still here. She didn't kill me. Now, it felt really weird to do that because it was out of character for me. But you're going to have to change your character to heal. And believe me, you'll be changing it for the better. You'll be changing it for the better. You deserve to be able to do anything you want. You want to go and buy some Ben & Jerry's ice cream at the grocery store right now? You can do it. You can. There's nobody that has control over you. One thing that's weird, now one thing that was kind of weird for me, and I noticed this, is that we tend to go from people. We tend to go, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. Like, for an example, when I broke up with my narc, or when she discarded me, it's kind of a mutual thing. I actually found a counselor that was very confident. And I think he might even be a little narcissistic. But I found him, and I actually had a friend who was kind of a narcissist too. Kind of, maybe he was. But he would actually tell me, well, you need to do this. And it was like a competition. Like, he was trying to show me how to be strong against her. In other words, I just kind of needed to be told, like, I needed to be told directly that, you know, you're okay. It's okay. Dude, you don't have to do that. And I'm telling you the same thing. If you want that strong person, okay, I'm going to try to be as forceful and kind of like egotistical as I can. So here it goes. Here it goes. Fuck him. Okay. Hey. All right. So nobody like take that out and put it all over YouTube or whatever. Kind of be embarrassing, but that's what I want you to think. I want you to have somebody, think of your older brother, think of a friend, think of somebody that would stand up for you. If you don't feel like you've got enough inertia on your own to stand up for yourself, think about the brother or the father that would stand up for you. What would my dad do? What would my dad say to him? You know, see, you've got more people on your side than you know. But the thing is, here's the thing, they're not always around you. I'm going to be off of this video in a few minutes. So I'm not always going to be around you, but you have to almost know, because the reality is there's a lot of people that are on your side. But see, you know, the narc, they brainwash us. They make us think that we're all alone, that they're the only ones that can make us happy, right? Bullshit. You've been lied to. We've all been lied to, right? They're just one big ball of lies. They lie to themselves more than anything. You don't want to be around these people. So the other thing you can do is you can make a benefits versus cost list. That's what business people do. It's called a Ben Franklin. And what you do is you make out a plus and minuses. You draw like a T, and on one side you put the pluses, on the other side you put the minuses. What are the benefits of you staying with the narcissist? Well, you wouldn't have the no contact withdrawals, right? Okay. what else? Oh, I know. I don't think there's any other ones. Okay, we got that. So the minus ones. Now, if you write down all the things that won't be good, the things that could hurt you are, what are your kids going to see you as? Okay, if you have kids, do you want your kids to see you as the person that you are around the narcissist? Self-esteem, possible suicide of you. Yes, you, later on. Now, if you're worried about the narc, well, if I break up with a narc, maybe they'll commit suicide. No. I would say 99.9% of the time. They may threaten it because they want to try and say anything to lure you back in, but it's lies. They use lies to get you back into the fold and get you under their power thing. So that's one of the things. There's a lot of other things that they can, there's a lot of other negative things here. Let me think. I mean, there's so many actually. Where do I begin? Where do I end? So yeah, so they'll be mad at you. That's one of the things that it can be not so good, but they're going to be mad at you anyways. I think I said that earlier in the video. It doesn't matter with them. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You stay in contact with them, still going to abuse you. Yeah, but every time, and they have a sixth sense about this, every time they can feel you pulling away like you want to get healthy, every time they feel that, they get all nice on you. Oh, I didn't mean to. I really need to look at myself and figure that out. We'll go to the counselor next week. I'll go to the counselor next week. Okay. They did that, right? Now, watch what they do. Watch what they do. Watch their feet. I'm going to do this. What they say, does it match this? Usually not. Usually, this gets forgotten the next day, or when they have an emotional state change. They're happy, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do this. Future fake, future fake, future fake. Yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire, blah, 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 blah. Future fake, future fake. And then this is just on the couch or in bed or busy going out and getting another supply. Yeah, it doesn't match. What you want to do is you want to be around people that match. Now, not everybody's perfect, so don't go looking for perfection, but first, stop the bleeding, get away from them, go no contact. There's so many videos on YouTube about going no contact. There's some really good ones. There's one I think has probably got 100,000 views on it. 10 reasons to go no contact. And I can't think of the guy's name, but he's really good. Been around a long, helped me a lot. I think I watched that video probably about 10 times, come to think of it. So, I wanted to share that technique with you, the visualization, taking a picture of your narc, big, 360 degrees even, IMAX size, shrinking it down, 6:9 screen, okay, shrinking it down, it's color, move it over here, shrink it down, it's black and white, pat it away. You have control over what you see in your head. And when you do see them, small black and white picture, small black and white. And you can even do the crush your head. You take their picture, okay? You can do whatever you want. You have the freedom to do whatever you want. And when you're not around them, you can express that. You can express yourself. That's one of the benefits too, by the way, is that you get to actually get listened to by other people. You know, we get so told our feelings don't matter, and we just are made to feel like no one really cares about us. Well, when you're around the narc, they really don't care about you. But they have to tell you to keep you, if they just tell you flat out they don't care about you, you're not going to stay around, because, your logic would take over. You'd be like, well, he said he doesn't care about me. Why would I stay around him? But no, they got to fake that a little bit. They got to keep you in the loop on that. And again, they're very sensitive, and don't try to outsmart them on that. They know it. They know, remember, they're from when they were 5 or 6 or 7 years old, they've been studying this. They've been studying people. They've been studying, if I say this, then this happens. If I do this, then this happens. You haven't been doing that. You've been growing up kind of regularly, listening to people and empathy and connecting with people, because you can talk and you have empathy and you can develop love and intimacy and vulnerability. They don't do any of that. It's all head games. It's all head games. Okay? The ego, that's one of the ways to think of them, is ego. They're all ego. Okay? And they're shoving down any little sense of who they really are, right? So they're going to grow up figuring out things, testing things, seeing how this works, how's that work. If I do this to that person, what happens there? They do that probably 50, 100 times a day since they were like 6. Are you kidding me? And you're going to try to outsmart them? Even just the way you pause, they will notice that. So they're really good at reading what other people do and trying to pretend like they're feeling something. They can pretend really, really well. That's why it's so confusing around them, because you think they're being real. You think, oh, finally, because what they say sounds so good. And they practiced it, right? They practiced it on the way home when they saw it in a movie, okay? And they're practicing it, and it sounds so good. They want to use that because that'll help them get what they want. Because everybody lives like them, right? No, they don't. But their minds, they're just Swiss cheese as their brain, I'm telling you. And so, okay, so me, I'm about 2 years out with kind of a gray rock, right? I don't talk to her that much, but when I do, it's like, everything's a competition. Everything's a competition. Especially when you haven't gone contact with them. If you've gone no contact and you have to see them at kid events or be gray rock them or whatever, it's their positioning. Their little computers are like, and they're trying to hold in all that rage too, because there's always a reason to be mad at you. If they don't have one, their emotions will make it up to make it sound rational. Okay? They'll make up something to be mad at you about. It's your fault. Yeah. 2 years later, it can still be your fault. In their minds. It's not really. It's in their minds. But they're good at they're good at manipulating. They get a harem of people, right? Their little posse, their little like gang around them, and they say this to this one and that. And the people don't really get that close to the narcissist. You were close. You saw the mask slip and everything. But these other people are on the periphery, right? But they're around the narc just enough so the narc can go, I know this person, you should meet this person. And the narc's good at flattering them and love bombing them, keeping them in the loop. So that's how they kind of keep themselves kind of regulated, kind of in the groove, right? Because again, it's reflected back to them, their images. So if I tell you I'm a great painter and I'm a multimillionaire with a yacht out on the French Riviera, in fact, I'm flying there next week in my jet. If I tell you that and you believe it, the narcissist is just like, yes, gotcha, love it. Then it becomes true for them that you see that. So if you see that I'm a French Riviera guy, with like a painter, if I can convince you of that, me being the narcissist, okay, I'm going to pretend I'm a narcissist. If I can convince you of that, then I've won, and I feel powerful because I'm messing with you. I've got you, baby. I've got you. You're all, man, and I'm going to have you in the sack, right? Because a narcissist, for a lot of guy narcissists, and I know because I know some of them, getting you in the sack is like touchdown. That's like the goal, okay? Why? Because they don't have any connection. They don't have the intimacy thing going on. So for them, sex is the only thing they got really. Sex and money and power, that's their go-tos, right? They don't really have anything else to measure themselves with. So if you are completely vulnerable with them, almost like an animal doing this, you know how an animal will like expose their neck? Dogs will lay over like, that's what you're doing for the narcissist. They're having sex with you, not for getting to know you and getting into you. It's the power they have of being able to being so submissive to them in their minds, right? But you're thinking, hey, this is great. you know, it's we're on the same level and we're really connecting. No, it's not a connection with them. It's a power thing with them. I've talked to these guys too. I've talked to them about this. And I was even asking questions. This is a few years ago, right? Before I knew all this stuff. But I would say, what is it about you having this affair with your wife? What do you, he says, it's the power, you know? I mean, being able to tell a girl that, hey, take off your panties, you know, and the girl does it and send me a photo. I mean, it's just the power thing. It's just like immense with these guys. So anyways, I'm going kind of weird on there, but just kind of giving you guys an idea what guys are like, guy narcissists. But because most of you on here are women. I mean, most of the people in the group are women. Still, there's a few cool guys like me, but you know, most of the guys don't talk up about this. But I'm sure you have brothers and cousins and fathers that have been narcissistically abused, but they just you know, there's a culture thing for a lot of guys, and we just don't talk about it. I've just decided I'm further along that I'm just going to talk about it, you know, because I think it'll help some other people out, and it gives you guys a perspective, and this helps me out too. Okay, I'm going to be straight with you. I mean, this because all of my expression, all of my creativity was really gradually taken away from me over 20 years. Okay, but it was still there. I mean, it was still me, right? I'm still a creative, expressive person, but for the longest time, I was just, for the last 5 years, the life was just sucked out of me. So I feel like I'm making a comeback. I feel like I'm making up for all those years. So that's why I'm doing all these videos and everything. But to be able to connect with people again. See, I was disconnected for so long because the narc would keep me in their little cell, right? You know, the lotion in the basket, you know. I mean, just the narcs, they want to have total control over you. So what you'll find, if you're like me, is that this feeling, this void, this emptiness that you have, this like, who am I? You know, I don't even know what music I like. I don't know. I mean, I didn't know. So people would ask me what kind of music I like. It was like thinking, well, what do we listen to? What do we listen to? It was like, it was always what she kind of wanted and everything, because I didn't really have a self, because I was taught at an early age that my opinions don't matter. You know, my thoughts don't matter. My feelings don't matter. But not in a, my parents weren't abusive, but they weren't just, a lot of times they just weren't emotionally available, you know, lots of things and different things going on. But when you're ignored, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of hard. So when you are listened to, of course, the narcs are great listeners when you first meet them, because they're trying to figuring out where your weak points are, how they can take control over you. You know, they're like, oh, their mouths are watering. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna have a good time with this one. But yeah, so no contact. It's all good. You're not the bad one. And you know what? You'll probably lose some friends too if you change. But it'll be for the good. You'll change for the good. You'll lose people that you thought were friends, but they really kind of didn't really have your best interest out. They had their best interest out, because chances are, if you are dating a narcissist, the friends that the narcissist allows you to be around are the ones that the narcissist kind of knows, you know, like they can kind of, a narc knows what a narc is up to better than they do like somebody with feelings and stuff. So boy, if you talk with a coworker or some guy or something and the narc doesn't understand it, like, what are you talking about your feelings for? You know, they'll try to separate that ASAP. Like, they'll, you know, make fun of you, or, you know, make you feel guilty about something, or change the subject totally and just have a fight with you. And I mean, there's so many remember, since they were 5, they're just testing different things, right, to see what will work. So they're going to have you're kind of ruining the party for them. You know, if there's another way to look at it, you know, they've had this party with you for a while, and you've been so easy. I mean, come on, you know, they just snap their fingers, and you just, you know, what do you want? You know, they can create this fear. I'm God. They really think they're God. I've heard them say that before. I'm like a God. They really do. So let me read some of your comments here. Let me see. So you guys, sorry, I wanted to get out what I wanted to say, so because I lose track. I see squirrels go by. So just looking at your comments here. Okay, good. You guys have been talking with each other. Good. That's good. I can't see that well anyways without my glasses. I'm getting old. So, but yeah, I've seen some of you guys just, and you're still in a pattern, you know. I see a pattern for some of you. And just from what you posted, now I don't know the full details, but from what you've posted, I see some of you coming out and, you know, posting back, and some of you getting into new homes. That's a great thing. I've seen a lot of people move lately, like, you know, hey, I'm out of the house with the narc, I'm out of the apartment, and now I'm in a new place of my own. You know what? If that place is, even if that place is rat infested or whatever, if it's a hole, no, I mean, if it's freedom away from them and they can't, don't ever let them come in, by the way. Don't ever let them, like, well, I had this, like, I thought about this, like, well, it'd be kind of nice to just let her in and just let her know that, you know, the kids will be safe and, you know, whatever. Don't. They'll plan. I mean, they just don't. That's your space. They don't deserve to be in your space. And, you know, if they do come over to your space, you can call the police and say somebody broke into your house. You know, don't give them the key. They'll probably beg for a key or something. That's your space. That's your privacy. That's your first way of establishing your borders, actual physical boundaries, physical borders, physical separation. That's by the way, that's the fastest way to recover, is physical separation from them. That way they just can't invade your space whenever they want. You actually, and you know, you just have that time. You just that's the first step of no contact. I believe the fastest way, the most effective way, is to go that physical separation. Yeah, and if they move out, you know, the quickest way to change the mood of a room is to throw a coat of paint on, right? So you can paint, and you can paint out all your frustrations away, and, you know, like, just F you while you're painting. I mean, you deserve it. And, you know, if some of you haven't yelled out in your car yet, F-bombs, and, you know, that would never come out of that Christian mouth, right? You might want to do it. It's okay. You can do it. You can do it. You have permission. In fact, you don't need permission. I don't know why I just said that. I just said that maybe to make you feel better, but you really don't need anyone's permission. Everything you do has consequences. Now, if you're in your car alone driving, and nobody's around you, yell, okay? Now, if you're in your car driving and there's people on the road, everybody's on their phone anyways and they're driving, and so they're not really gonna, they're thinking on Bluetooth or talking to somebody in the car, so anyways. Oh yeah, and the discard too, they after a while you can almost see the discard. Like, if you've done this before, it's like, yeah, I've seen that record before, yeah, seen that movie before, I know how it ends. Kind of the same way. But they're good. I mean, when you try to go head with these people, they are good. You're playing on their court, you know? Like me trying to play tennis with Andre Agassi. I mean, he's probably older now, but I don't play tennis that much. Why would I play his game on, like, his court, you know? That's what he does. So trying to play tennis with a professional tennis player, they're going to beat you, okay? So best thing you can do is, if they invite you on the court, don't be there to be even invited. Don't even have the phone number for him to invite you. Don't even have the text message available, the Facebook. And by the way, if you haven't been hoovered yet, you will. It might take you. When their supply runs out, usually too, when they leave you, they already have somebody, you know, oh, I can't believe they found somebody the next day. Well, no, they already had somebody. You just didn't know it, okay? It's like 99% of the time they're out, like, getting their supply, right? They have to have somebody. They're not like you. They can't be alone. They have to have somebody to be able to regulate their emotions, give them supply, what Sam Vaknin calls narcissistic supply. So anyways, guys, I am going to wrap it up here, but I wanted to share that with you. No contact. Keep doing it. For those of you that have been doing it, share something with the people below here about how it's working for you. People need to see that. Now, no contact doesn't mean you stop and then everything's hunky-dory, right? You're gonna still have wild swings of emotions. The thing is, if you have contact, you're gonna have wild swings of emotions, right? So what's happening is you're used to doing this on the boat, right? The narcissistic boat, and then you go no contact. The water gets smooth, but you're still seasick. You're still like, you still got that feeling like, well, you still got, I'm still feeling this way, right? So your emotions are going to be all over the place, and you're going to want your fix, right? I just want him to I want to let him know that I really do think about him, and that I'm sad, and that I know they said to go no contact, but I just want to let him know. Maybe he's not. There's a reason you're going no contact. There's a reason. Trust us on this. Trust everyone on here, right? Now, I will say this. Some of you are going to break no contact. Now, when that happens, if you do, for most of you, hopefully, if you've gone no contact long enough, you'll have enough experience, you'll have enough knowledge, you'll have enough training to be able to, when you do break no contact, I'm not encouraging you to, but when you do break no contact, that will give you more reason. That'll give you confirmation that I made the right thing. This guy really is jacked up in the head. Okay? So if some of you have done this, sometimes it takes a few times, okay? But each time, if you can space it out long enough so that when they do show up or whatever and they catch you off guard, you're like, what, you can look for the signs. You can see them in a different light. You can see them, as I talked about earlier, if you haven't watched this video yet, change the submodalities in your head, change the way you see them, change the mental image you have of them, shrink it down, okay? Because really, they are getting more airtime in our head than they deserve, okay? Somebody's around us along and they repeat and I'm the most important one in your head. I'm the most important one in your head. I'm the most, pretty soon you're like, they're the most important ones in my head. I got to do what they say, right? You've been conditioned, you've been trained. You think that's your reality, but it's not. It's all in your head. All right, guys. Take care. Love you. Bye.